Oh, sorry. So sorry.
Okay, I think we're ready to start, folks. This is the RTM Park Rec Committee meeting in person in the Town Hall Auditorium. I'm calling it to order, and I'm going to call the roll. Patty Bumgardner.
Here.
Diane Conlon.
Here.
On the phone. Cheryl Russell.
Here.
Kelly Scallon.
She's on her way.
She's on her way. Penny Wilson. Here. Carrie Cardone.
Here.
On the phone.
Yes.
Adele Coniff. Sue Ellen Mitchell.
Here.
Jean.
Here.
Jean, how do you pronounce your last name?
Sue.
Sue. That's you. Okay. Silent H. Thank you. Andy Millar.
Right here.
Sandy Savage.
Here.
Susan Marks.
Here.
Debbie McGarren. Bill Van Loan.
Here.
Kelly is here.
Cal, come sit right here. Okay.
Okay. Right, the approval of the minutes of 9:24. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at them.
I just have one correction.
correction?
It's not a big deal. Under, let's see, I don't have my page numbers, but discussion of possible vote on harbor ordinances.
Okay, hang on a minute, let me get there. Okay,
It should just be,
a little louder.
it should just be Norotan Yacht Club, not Norotan Bay.
Where?
It's in the second to last paragraph on the bottom of the page. I think Jean knows where it is. Yeah, that's my only correction.
Oh, okay, right. Gotcha.
And there were
Okay, thank you.
two-
Any other corrections?
And just in my lovely long last name, there were two B's, there's only one. It's okay. Or at least that was one of the versions I saw. No problem. Sorry.
To make it longer.
Okay.
Just do Patty.
Anything else? We have a motion to accept the minutes as amended. Cheryl moved. Anybody?
Sue Ellen?
Sue Ellen? All in favor?
Right.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have on our agenda to vote on an appointment of Sandy Savage to the Pear Tree Point Beach Building Committee and recommend her appointment to the RTM. May I have a motion?
I'll move the motion.
Patty
second.
moves.
I'll second.
Susan Marks.
Susan Marks seconded. Any discussion?
Thank you, Sandy, for
Yeah.
volunteering.
Yay! Thanks, Sandy. Perfect. You know, been a long time advocate for Pear Tree, and will, you know, stand in good stead there. So thank you. I hope the rest of the RTM agrees, but we are pulling for her appointment. So that's unanimous. Did we vote? We did vote, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Well, it happened too quickly, right? Okay, next on the agenda is to discuss and vote on,
Should we do it an official vote?
that's what I said, did we?
I don't think we did the official vote. I think we all
Okay,
just
that's what I
cheered.
meant.
We moved, so Patty moved the motion, Sandy, Susan seconded it.
And all in-
You discussed it.
Yeah, and all in favor? That's what I was asking. Thank you.
And they said
Is that a double aye?
I'm against.
Diane? Aye. Thank you.
Yep, aye.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, I knew we had, there you are. I'm not completely lost it yet. Okay, let's discuss and vote on 25-26, Chapter XIV, Section 61, the changes to the Darien Charter. I don't know if we really talked about the charter change particularly before. I've got some copies of the, I'll pass some down this way, and maybe you might have to share on this way. It gives you a little bit more of the section that the change is in.
Here's some more.
Okay, there's another, if anybody. The part is,
That was sent to us, right, Adele?
yes, it was.
Yeah, okay,
So-
perfect. So that, and that, you sent that, I'm sorry, on 1015 that said resolutions for RTM?
Yes, it's in there. It's behind the,
Okay, perfect.
it's with the resolution.
Perfect,
So
thank
thi-
you.
So this is section 61. And this is, if you remember, we had to have a public hearing. And part of the public hearing that made it so complicated, the timing of it all for poor Frank, to figure out was that if you change the charter, there's different X number of days you have to wait, and different things that you have to do in the newspapers, et cetera, to make it legally so. So that we did all that back in June. So the change is adding any police officer of the town of Darien, adding as well as any Special Harbor Constable appointed by the Board of Selectmen shall have the authority to enforce any ordinance and added adopted as provided in section 59 of this act. So essentially it gives the proposed change to the charter section 61 provides for the appointment of the Special Harbor Constable by the Board of Selectmen to enforce the harbor ordinances in addition to the Darien Police. So that was what the Jen Terneski, Town Administrator, described it as. So, are any questions? You know, it's the basis of that the ordinances changes were made, basically. You know.
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
How, it says that the RTM has authority to
Correct.
fix speed limits in the area of operation. How do we know what the speed limits should be?
Help! John, if you're going to speak, can you come up to the podium? Or no, you can just come up to the mic. It is on. Thank you.
I think 25 miles an hour would be great.
Hi, John Keena. I'm the harbor master for the town of Darien. The ordinances are being updated to reflect a no-wake zone. So, I mean, you can, I won't elaborate. I'll just leave it as a no-wake zone is the best way to describe it. The state has moved away from miles per hour to no wake.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is no wake 6?
It really, I mean, you stipulate a no-wake zone because some vessels at 10 miles an hour won't throw a wake. So you want no wake, and some of you will see on some signs where it will designate speed, but the state is always stating no wake zone. There's also vessels that go far less than 5 miles an hour and throw a wake, but it should be no wake. And then if you see excessive speed but no wake, but you would rarely ever see that, you would call that out also as well.
Is it posted?
On the speed or no wake buoys, yes.
No, they're buoys then.
Yep. There's actually, if you dig around the Connecticut website, especially like the boating rules area of deep, they actually will show you the requirements of how a buoy, what it has to look like and what it says. And they've migrated to no wake zone more than speed. Norwalk had 6 mile an hour signs forever, and now it says no wake. Darien has been 5, but it's no wake now is really what is enforced.
So actually the state sets it and the RTM really has no influence.
The state has power over, what is a harbor and what the rules are. You're not supposed to throw wake, not supposed to throw wake in a harbor or a no wake zone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else? May I have a motion then to approve 25-26?
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Patty moves. Who's the
Who
second?
was second? Sandy?
Patty, Sandy. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Let's just make sure that we've got everybody here.
Aye.
There's one aye.
Do we have 2 people on the phone?
Yeah. Carrie?
Andy, was
Carrie?
that your hand? I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's a yes.
we just got one more vote here.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, 25-27, changes to Chapter 78 of the Code of Ordinances, which we really went through at our last meeting, very, I don't know, but carefully, yeah, in detail, yes, and with a healthy, robust discussion. And so, are there any other further questions?
Adele, I just have one question. I know that TGS&A met last night. I did not get a chance to look at the meeting. Was anything brought up at that we should be aware of?
Adele and I were there, we attended, and they voted, it was unanimous except one to support it.
So it wasn't unanimous.
So
That
it was,
person
right, so
had a whole lot of
I don't know the number, I can't
Yeah.
recall if it was 9 people.
And was there any much discussion about anything? Just for our own, I mean, I'll watch the meeting, but
Joe, do you remember the numbers last night?
that's okay. We don't need the numbers. Was there much discussion?
It's okay.
What's that?
Right there. Do you remember the numbers of your vote last night?
7 to 1.
7 to 1. Okay, thank you.
Were there any, and there were no changes or anything?
No.
Other than what you read,
Right,
what
all
we put
changes
in?
happened.
And then,
But the lawyer incorporated it.
right, so there was basically no change,
No,
only what she approved.
it was 7 to 1.
Okay.
Okay?
You know what? To answer your question, thank you, Joe. To answer your question, there was one person who had multiple questions and multiple issues. And I don't think there was anything that was brought up that we didn't discuss already. Do you think so, Patty?
No, I feel like our committee does a good job of watching other committees' meetings and attending the public hearings and participating in all of that. So I would just say congrats to us, and maybe if they had watched a little bit more of what we had done at the very last meeting, they might have been a little bit more up to speed. That's my takeaway. The one other thing I will say was there was one person who was debating, remember how you all added the suggestion of, let's make sure when the ordinances are changed, that there is a mechanism to allow it to go out to people at the boat club and at the Neuro and Yacht Club and, people on moorings and slips. And there was one person there who kept debating that she did not receive something. And then these fine gentlemen got up and addressed a number of things. And one of them, Sam, had the list of 175 people that were on the mooring list, I think, if I'm saying that number right. John, okay. And then he asked her name, and then he read off the email that it went to her. So I think that was the end of that conversation.
There were a couple of
Yeah.
people in the audience, with questions.
It was a husband, wife, and then one other person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was a good, healthy discussion amongst TGS&A.
Okay. So my only other comment is I still feel very strongly about the changes that I tried to make and obviously was not successful, so I won't go back and try and make them again, but I will not be supporting this, just because I don't agree with a lot of it.
Sure.
Some of it's great stuff, but not everything.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, may I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Cheryl moved. Second?
Second.
Sandy, second. All those in favor, raise your hand. Or say, as one aye. That's 2 ayes. All opposed? Susan marks as opposed.
Abstention.
One abstention.
And 1 abstention. Andy abstains.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just write that down just for a second, folks.
Cheryl moved the motion, Sandy seconded it, Susan
I don't
abstained.
need that, because Jean's got that. But,
Susan voted no or abstained?
Yes.
I voted no.
Voted no, correct. And then Andy abstained.
Andy abstained, and then the rest.
The rest, Diane and Carrie on the phone were verbal yeses, and the rest of
Yes.
us raised our hands.
Yes. Okay, all right, thank you. We will move on to the RTM on that one.
Should we send them away? Say thank you. Thank you all so much for just
Thank you.
what felt like hundreds of meetings. And
Thank you for always being there to answer the
yes,
questions.
yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Yes, we'll see you at the RTM meeting.
Yeah.
Yes, love it.
Love it.
Right. On behalf of Frank.
But anybody like any cookies?
Does this sweeten us up for the
This
kill?
snickerdoodles?
They are snickerdoodles.
Bring them on down.
Yes, they are homemade. Oh, wow. Sorry, guys, I meant to leave them out.
No, I'm
She's behaving.
sure she's trying and she won't
Downfall of Western civilization.
the snickerdoodles. Oh, that's so nice of you.
Good thing.
Okay.
Glass of milk.
No, I didn't bring anything to drink, sorry, guys. Updates on any committees or commissions that anybody's attended or watched or anything?
Adele, Coastal Waters did not meet in October. They're not meeting again until November.
Okay.
And the GIAC obviously disbanded, but at the Board of Selectmen meeting, they had talked about putting together a building committee chaired by Monica and potentially one or two other from the GIAC and elsewhere, but then that was tabled as well. So basically, Great Island is tabled for a while till they can come back, work with the consultants, and
Bring a new proposal.
bring a new proposal and perhaps at a less, at a reduced cost.
Anybody else? No? Gonna give you a bit of an update on the commission. Susan and I attended the meeting on the 15th. So they did vote, they're doing this ahead of time, voting on their fee schedule for next year. The idea being is they should know that before they build their capital budget or their budget period. So anyway, so they, as I mentioned last time, they did vote to move the youth sports participation fee from $10 to $15 per child per sport. And they also added, which I think they'd been doing, but it wasn't in the fee schedule, added $1,500 per location per day for filming in a park, which I guess has happened at, not frequently, but has happened. So, can everybody hear?
Is that $1,500 a day?
So that's $1,500 per location per day for filming in a park. So I guess if you're using more than one park, then you pay more than once.
Did they define what was filming?
Pardon?
Well, there have been cases where commercials have been shot at Cherry Lawn, so probably things like of that nature.
And I saw a film crew down there last, maybe spring or summer down at Weed Beach.
So it's a motion picture of some kind, commercial.
This looked like a mini documentary of a bunch of people.
How about Ben Larrabee shooting stills on the beach?
That's not a video, is it?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I would be a guess it's no. But I don't know. Good question, actually. They also just talked about their takeaways from the September Board of Finance meeting that did not, where the Wee Beach project was not funded. And I think we were in general agreement that the project has no support at this time, and so best to not pursue. They discussed the fiscal year 27 budget objectives, talked a little bit about operating. This is mostly Jen Fava talking about where she thinks things are going, and I think you noticed in our director's report, said that there's a new position in the Department of Senior Management of Recreation Programs and Events, which the major focus will be for the taking care of the summer camps, in addition to additional programs and events, because they always need another hand with the events. They really are stretched when they have an event. So this should help that. And currently the position is posted and closes on 10/24. This replaces the Youth Services Director position. And just is part of the merging of Park and Rec and Youth Services budgets.
Are they going to hire another youth service person?
No, this is
This is going to be the person
This
that's
is the
gonna-
person, yeah.
And it's a full-time position? Did they say
Not
full-time or
quite
part-time?
sure. I
Okay.
thought it might be part-time, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't go back and look. I'm sorry. I didn't write that down when I was taking my notes. Do you remember, Susan?
I don't think it's going to be part-time. I didn't
You
get
think
that
it's
impression.
full?
I think
It's
it's
too many
full-time.
things for it to not be.
I think so,
full.
yeah. I mean, because it was a full-time
Director's position.
director's position,
Exactly.
which is not going to be directors, but I'm under the impression that it's full-time.
Full-time, yeah, that makes sense.
And it replaces the youth services director, and who else? Was there a second?
No, that's it.
It's just replaces the youth services.
They're going to continue to streamline the budgets, which they started last year. I think what they're talking about is sometimes you saw different line items disappear from certain budgets, and yet they kind of reappeared as part of another. I think that where it made sense to put things together, they're going to continue to do that. There's some more that can be done that. And then they would mention something about signage generally across the parks that budget-wide might need to be an item. So in the Capitol, they talk, the first thing that...
Wait, can I clarify that? You mean, so they might make a line item for
I'm not
signage?
sure if that was an example for
Okay.
signage, or if they were going to put signage from all of it under, yes, and make a
Okay.
line item instead of
Okay.
having it under all the different things, which I
Okay.
think that's what they were saying. Real clear. What do you think? Yeah. For the capital budget, first thing that Jen mentioned was the McQuon parking lot paving. I think that's something that needs to be done. But which led to her talking about capital being affected by the ADA audit. And remember that in this year's budget, there's the rails for the ramp at McGuan, for the handicapped ramp, needed to be replaced. It's in this year's budget. And she said she hadn't done it yet because in the audit, the ramps doesn't come up to the code that it's supposed to. So the question is, well, you want to do it all at the same time, and whether that's in this year's capital budget or not. I mean, it's not decided yet, but that's the kind of thing that they're talking about where capital is going to be affected by the ADA.
Did they give you any numbers, like how much it's off for coming up? Okay, thank you.
You know, they have them. I mean, there's detailed measurements and things there's for each park in each thing. I mean, I can't remember how many things they said just for Weed Beach there was that were out of compliance. But whether it's a little or a lot, they do have the numbers. They do have the numbers. The circulation study at Cherry Lawn, and I think First Selectman Zabrowski was in attendance at the meeting, and he said basically anything done at Cherry Lawn, you gotta do the ADA with whatever you're thinking about doing there. So that would be part. The circulation study would be part of that. And then an interesting thing, because as Jen Spava said, that the new playgrounds do not meet code. The new playgrounds at Cherry Lawn do not meet the code.
What code?
You're kidding.
So she said she would be contacting the Playscape company because they had signed off that the apparatus was up to code. So we would be hoping that they will be fixing
Yeah,
whatever
big
needs
time.
to be fixed. So that was the one, I told Patty there was one thing I meant to tell her, well, that was it.
Yeah, you hit us right here in the heart with that one.
Did they dwell on what was not up to code?
No, and you know, as Patty was just, it sort of implied just a minute ago, it could be just a little bit off, like the pathway, or the, you know, that it's, the incline's too much, or the, you know, that, or the area underneath something is not, that has the surface under it, you know, it's not big enough. You know, it should be, there could be, there's just innumerable ways. And also, all the fields in that, no, that's the playground. Then we won't, we're not talking, we'll talk about the fields right now.
Well, when we did this playground, there was a committee to do this playground and wanted the tall, I don't know what it's called over there.
No, yeah, it's not that. It basically is what they didn't do, what they said they were they were going to do.
So
That's
it's
it.
multiple elements of the playground are not ADA compliant, or like one specific structure?
They didn't say that, no.
Is it, and we can find that on the ADA thing that was just presented to the Board of Selectmen like a
No, but
week
it's
ago.
not, but that which was presented to the Board of Selectmen is not the most detailed part. You know, there's backup information for all of that.
Also, Adele, I think they were saying that there's a subcommittee, the two, Jen
That's
and
correct.
Jen are going to be meeting along with, I'm not sure who else, that are going to go into greater detail about the whole ADA.
Right, and
report.
and figure out a strategy,
Yes,
because, you know.
yes.
Yeah, and it sounded like it can be done over time.
Yes.
But they need to make progress too. And then they'll decide what's low for hanging fruit, and what really has to be done right away. But this seemed to be getting the company to take care of whatever problems that they did not take care of when they installed. And I didn't get the feeling that things were off by a lot. Basically, it was like, as you need an inspector to inspect what people do, to measure things, you know, to make sure it's exactly what it's supposed to be. So, it doesn't sound easy, but they certainly sound like they're on top of it, you know.
Can I ask you a question? You said a subcommittee.
Yeah.
Are you talking about just Jen and Jen, or Jen and a subcommittee? Like, would somebody from P&Z be on it? Would Public Health and Safety be on it?
They didn't, and certainly not RTM members, but I think it's more internal with town staff.
Okay, and,
Patty, I think,
They didn't elaborate?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
They didn't elaborate, but yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
mentioning that, because I'd forgotten that. So, they also mentioned the weed playground, and anyway, so moving on, lots of recommendations for ADA compliance. I did not make the list of them. You can read them in the report that was given to the Board of Selectmen, as Patty just said.
Was
Say again?
also on the, Weed Beach Playground was also on the list?
Yeah, it would need to be,
Not yet ADA.
yeah, it need to be, basically in the recommendations, they would say things like, list things that needed to be done, and then some things they would say, these really need to be done, and then this could be done the next time you redo an area, and the playground at Weed was one of those in that category. Let's see, they announced about the pear tree, that the pear tree funding had passed, and that the building committee was getting started. Yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl.
And then they scheduled their meetings for next year, which is nice, so that will make it easier for setting our meetings. And the administrative staff is also working on revisions of the park rules. I guess those will be coming forward before too long. And then it was just the update on the paddle, which is going well, and block registration is going very well, you know, up over 20% from this time last year. And the fall program registration is down 8% from last year, and I remember the summer registration was down a bit too. So they're working on adding some new programs, you know, trying to get, ever trying to interest little people doing things, and they're using the social media to promote their offerings. And,
They say what was causing the decrease?
I don't think they know, really, you know. I don't think they know. It does do that, but but they need to they try to refresh their,
Based on all your kids across using multiple programs? Yeah.
try to refresh their
I'm just curious if
offerings.
it's like kids programming, adult programming, is it something they didn't offer?
It was a little bit of both, I think. I think it was, if I'm remembering it correctly.
That's a good question, though, kids versus adults, or a
Yeah.
combination
Because of
thereof.
pricing, or what was,
Well, it's like sprout chefs. Sometimes that's really, a lot of people go, the kids are interested in it. Then when they've done it for a while, then you need a new group, be interested, or you need a new program to interest that group. So my feeling was it was that sort of thing. But they had over 200 participants at the Highland Farm show. I know how to train your dragon. 14 cherry trees were removed from Cherry Lawn, mostly around the parking lot, because they were hazardous. Limbs, were falling. They were old, I think, and they were, the storms were bringing limbs down.
Can I ask you a question? Are you sure they were cherry trees, or did they just say 14 trees? Because the cherry trees that were donated by Ginger Morgan in honor of her mother are lying close to Brookside, and those are all really healthy. The ones that came down were right by that front parking lot. I didn't
That's
think
what I
they were
just said, it
cherries.
was a parking lot. They
Yeah.
said cherry.
They said cherry?
Yeah.
Hmm, Okay,
At any rate, they're the
Okay.
ones by the parking lot.
okay.
Yeah. And there's a new fence at Baker, because the old one was looking a little shabby. And they put in green giant arborvitaes, yes, between the playground and the neighbor for screening.
Do you know how many, did they say?
the new fence at Baker Park, was that not originally part of the Baker Park capital, like the whole Baker Park new construction capital?
Probably not.
So this was something that was added.
Was it separate, right? And the arborvitae's was because of the neighbor who backed right up where the swing
I kind of thought
set
some of that was
was.
in the plan, but I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't have it. I'm not sure about that.
I think the fence might have been,
That was the
because
fence.
I think the fence was ARPA money in the end, I think. Didn't
Well,
we have a
the
little bit
front-
left
The
over?
front fence was.
Okay.
But this is the fence between the playground and, but in front of, the fence in front of the playing field, I think, to separate the playing field.
Oh, in front of like the backstop at the, Okay.
I don't know exactly where it was.
Okay.
That's the way it was described. It's not the front fence.
Black fence.
okay, because that was done a while ago. That's why I was,
Exactly.
okay, got
It's
it.
not that one. It's
Okay.
The other one was looking a little
Yeah, they had talked
shabby.
about
They
it,
had
yeah,
talked about it being
yeah.
shabby.
That had been a Boy Scout project, and so, okay.
Anyway,
A while ago.
and the last thing that was mentioned that I can remember was that the director was working on the pond dredging documents for Cherry Lawn and Tilly.
Did she give a date for that? Because originally they were going to try and be starting, or going out to bid in November.
she
She
was
was on
working
it.
on the- working on the
She was just
paperwork.
trying to time it. I mean, soccer is just ending.
Yeah,
She was
yeah.
very thoughtful about when to do it and not disrupting what's
She's got
going
an
on
awful
here.
lot on her plate, particularly with this ADA being added to all of the mix. Kind of need to hire an inspector for the town, but I don't know that they will. We're talking a little bit about using.
The blight
or rather,
ordinance
John Zagrodzky was talking a little bit about maybe using a consultant, the consultant that had helped with the ADA process, but it would just be a part-time, little contract thing. But that was nothing set in stone at all. He was just talking about it, so. Okay. Is there any other business, guys?
Yes, I would like to ask, did the Park and Rec Commission discuss signage at all at the beaches or in our
I just
parks?
said that perhaps it's going to be in the budget, talking about it as a budget item, but they didn't talk about any specific signs at any specific places.
Okay, I sent Lori the town letter that went out a couple of weeks ago, and if you scroll down through it, it came down to nature and preserves or something. Anyway, in there, it talked about cars that idle. And idling is only allowed, it's a state law, for 3 minutes. And I sent it to her to request that they do something at the beach, Pear Tree, weed, and in our parks, because this is, you know, it's you're breathing fumes, you're upsetting the air quality, and we've had a number of people sitting in their cars at the beach idling. One woman was asleep in her car for 45 minutes, and the car was running. And they're parked in the front row, where people sit under the trees. And, right, Andy, you've seen it, and it just is constant. And you have no signage, and you have no way of saying to somebody, could you please turn off your car? Now, when I turn around and I ask somebody to turn off their car, 9 times out of 10, they say, oh, okay. But there's always that 1% that isn't going to abide by it. So you have to have signage. As a matter of fact, on the side of Uncle's Deli, they've got at least three signs within an arm's length that says, turn off your car, no idling. So they do have signs. We just need to put them up. So I think that it's a law, it's finable, and they can set the fines. And the police will have to enforce it. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to throw out there? Okay. Well, I'm
You're
going
right.
to be so bold as to say, I think there are a couple of members of our committee who are not returning to the RTM, long-serving members of the RTM that are not going to come back. And we want to thank them. I know Sue Ellen is coming off of the RTM, and she was the clerk for years. You know how that is, Jean.
Pretty sure. You want to retire.
So thank you, Sue Ellen. And if you get Mrs., please come back. And Susan? Susan, I think Susan is not coming back to the RTM too.
Correct.
So we're gonna, she hasn't been on our committee so very many years, but she's attended more meetings than, than most of us have, and always right at my side, and I can't tell you how much of a help she's been. So we're gonna miss her. And also, Susan, you know, you come back. Is anybody else not coming back, folks? Well, in that case, everybody sign up for Park Rec again, please. Thank you, Doug. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Cheryl moved. Any seconds? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, guys.